I call this meeting of the Rotary Club of Oakland to order. I'm Dudley Thompson, and I have the honor to serve as the president of the Rotary Club of Oakland. Founded in 1908, we're the third established club of some 37,000 Rotary clubs in over 200 countries around the world. We're a diverse community of some 300 business, community, and professional leaders who unite to improve our local community and international communities through a common commitment of service above self. For over 113 years, we've welcomed Rotarians and guests to our club meetings, and I welcome you to this, our 5,380th meeting. Yay! We finally hit that 80 mark. For those of you attending online, if you're a visiting Rotarian or the guest of a Rotarian, please enter your name in the chat box, which is located at the center of the bottom of the screen so that we can recognize you in a few minutes. And if you have comments or want to ask the question of the speaker today, please use the chat box. We recommend that you view today's meeting using Speaker View, located in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. For those of you that are here in the California Ballroom, I ask that you do not use your electronic device to watch the meeting on Zoom or connect to the Ballroom Wi-Fi. For the near future, and we just had our Board of Directors meeting last week to discuss, but we are going to continue checking vaccination cards to attend the meetings, and also ask that you wear your mask during the meeting if you're not eating or drinking. There's a couple of variants that are kind of flying around out there somewhere, and we hope that they don't come our way, but we're going to be safe for a while. We want to keep this meeting safe for everybody here. I also ask that you refrain from talking during the meeting as the sound becomes background noise for our online broadcast. Kristen Cook, are you here online? Do we have Kristen? Do you know if she's out there on Zoom? Okay. Thought for the day. Okay, Winston Churchill, that's a good one. Hopefully, I didn't read this ahead of time. I hope it's good. Success is never final. Failure is never fatal. It's courage that counts. And thank you. Okay. Do we have can you pull up the Rotary Vision Statement for me? Would you join me in our Rotary Vision Statement? Together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. Thank you. Past District Governor and past President Ed Jellen, you've got a mic in your hand. Do we have any visiting Rotarians today?
President Dudley, I am very disappointed to have to report that we do not have any visiting Rotarians.
Oh, Ed. Can you go out on the street and see if anybody's got a pin and get somebody in here?
So I don't know who's introducing guests, and I'm happy to receive this microphone.
Okay. Okay. Who's a mic runner today? Do we have a mic runner? There we go. Thank you, Jesse. Is the mic turned on? It didn't sound like it for. We have a great new team today. We're working things out here. Okay, I'm sorry for you people in Zoom land, but we're going to go ahead and introduce guests. Yell loudly. Leeann, I know you can. Thank you. Welcome, Kelly. And you're going to see more of Kelly in a few minutes, and we've got an extra supply of batteries, and we'll get that worked out here in a moment. Any other guests today? I know there's a few. Could you please introduce your guests? Thank you.
Hello.
It sounds like we might have something here.
No. A man like you deserves a microphone.
Right. Sure. Well, it is a privilege to be introducing Risa Nye as my guest today. Not the first time she's been a guest here before, and she's been a speaker here once quite a number of years ago. Risa and I have been married for practically 49 years now, and we've been together for far more than that. And so it's really a privilege to have her here with me. She, for as many of you know, she is a writer and has been for a long time, including her famous memoir book about the Oakland Hills fire. There was a fire here. She does write for Eat, Drink, Film on occasion, Gary Meyer's online publication, and there's no way in the world she could not be here to hear Gary speaking. So this is Risa Nye. It's great to have her here with me today.
Good to have you. Are you still writing your column about cocktail bars and cocktails? It's good to be back in the bar. Stu.
Anyway, okay. Hi, my name is Stew Epstein. I'm very pleased to have been able to introduce to you my guest, Mimi Rohr of Rohr Communications. She is a political consultant. She's also an Oakland native. She is a former journalist and a writer. Mimi Rohr.
Welcome, Mimi. Any other guests? Okay, do we have any guests online? Are we able to access that?
Yes, we have Julie Jellen online.
Okay, thank you. Is it Julie?
Yes, it's Julie.
Okay, thank you. Julie, is it Jellen? Is it? Okay, Ed Jellen's wife, Julie. Thank you for coming today, Julie. I know Ed's going to get up here in a few minutes, and we're going to see a little bit more with him. Any other guests? Okay. Let's see. Gary Flaxman and Kevin Jenkins, would you come up here, please? So we're inducting Kevin Jenkins today. We've been talking with Kevin a long time. Gary, would you do the honors?
All right, thank you, President Dudley. And all right, I am very, very privileged to introduce Kevin Jenkins. In November 2020, Kevin was elected to represent Area 2 for the Peralta Community College District, which includes all of East Oakland. As a Peralta Board of Trustee, Kevin has advocated for funding towards student housing, working closely with colleagues regarding worker representation, helping students, staff, and faculty navigate through the COVID pandemic, and looking for solutions to enhance public safety on campus. In order to enhance educational opportunities for everyone, he has helped orchestrate partnerships between our community colleges and various community-based organizations. Kevin believes very deeply in community representation, and in his role as Peralta trustee, he has become one of our more dynamic young community leaders. Currently, Kevin serves as president of the California Association of Black School Educators, with a mission to expand educational opportunities for underrepresented students, focusing on improving student performance while bolstering opportunities for college and career readiness. He is also a proud father to his absolutely adorable son, Elijah. Please give Kevin a warm Rotarian welcome. My friend, our newest member, Kevin Jenkins.
Kevin, We're so happy that you've chosen to join us. Know that your family and your friends are always welcome to join us, whether it's our projects or our events. By choosing to join us, you have accepted the Rotary vision and also agreed to conduct your affairs according to the four-way test. In this bag, I do have a framed copy of the four-way test, which I think is up on the board. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? I also have for you your red badge, indicating that your new member status. I also have your Rotary pin. Please wear it. It identifies you as a Rotarian, and we hope you'll wear it with pride. In your bag is there's the Centennial book that will give you an idea of the history of our history in Oakland over the past 115 years, and it's absolutely my pleasure to induct you into the Rotary Club of Oakland. Let's give our newest member a round of applause. Welcome. Okay. Yes, Keith Uriarte. Keith Uriarte rings the bell for Kevin Jenkins. Thank you. And ringing the bell for new visitors and friends is a generous $100 gift to the Oakland Rotary Endowment. A couple of quick things right now. I'd like to, last week, when I thank people at the end, it's always one of those things. You thank people and all of a sudden you realize you missed somebody. Last week, I did not thank Carla Betts. Carla set up everything that was here for St. Patrick's Day. It was everything on the table, my little flashy light on my bow tie. Carla thinks of everything to set these meetings up, and I want to thank Carla, and I so regret that I didn't do so last week. Last week, also, several people volunteered at the Oakland Marathon. It was a hoot. For about 6 hours, we handed out water cups and a little extra Gatorade, a little extra strength Gatorade that we didn't realize had to be, we learned about 2 hours in we were supposed to dilute it. Those first runners, I think, got around. Those first runners got around pretty fast. And we also, Tom Lamone organized a ski trip last weekend. Jesse Schmidt, thank you so much for the mixer last night. I don't know how many were there. I'm going to say 50 or 60 maybe. It was a great time at Nito's backyard. We are going to be in person through, I'm going to say through April, like this, in person and hybrid. The last meeting of April were dark because that's the gala. Let's see. And we're no longer an AV committee. We're a meeting production committee, and it is going well. First of all, there's a few mistakes. Hey, I used to do it. I made a lot of mistakes, but it's a team now. I mean, when Rod and I were like doing this alone for a few years. Now we've got a group of people that come in, set up, and run it. So I really thank these folks for. So, Michael Bruck, would you come up here? You have something. Oh, one other thing. I'm sorry. Did somebody at the business development, we think, lost their glasses last night? Okay. We'll give them to her then. Thank you. Michael.
I'm bringing a friend with me. Does the meeting production committee have the slides? Thank you. Well, it's my privilege today to reintroduce Ed Jellen. Ed is a California native. His hometown is Los Angeles, California. At Hamilton High School in Los Angeles, he was elected class president 2 times, student body president, and voted most likely to succeed by the class of 1964. Ed is a proud graduate of UC Berkeley and UC Berkeley School of Law. His first job was as a 13-year-old paperboy for the Los Angeles Mirror News. He delivered papers to 50 homes on his bicycle. He moved on to jobs as restaurant dishwasher. By the way, he was later promoted to busboy. Department store stock boy, furniture delivery man for his father's furniture store, and cannery warehouse worker here in Oakland during the summers while he was at Cal. After graduating from law school, Ed practiced law in San Francisco for 15 years. Looks like Ed Esquire there. In 1987, the Federal Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals appointed Ed to serve as a U.S. bankruptcy judge. He held that position for 25 years. Ed served 7 of those years as chief judge of the 9-judge Northern District Bankruptcy Court, and during his term chaired the Ninth Circuit Conference of Chief Bankruptcy Judges. Additionally, Ed has served as a member of the adjunct faculties of both UC Berkeley and Stanford Law Schools, teaching courses in federal bankruptcy law, and authored many articles for the California Bankruptcy Journal. Ed joined the Rotary Club of Oakland in 1997, several months after being invited to attend a meeting as the club's guest luncheon speaker. Ed went on to serve as chair of many of the club's committees, a member of the board of directors, and president during the club's centennial year of 2008-2009. At the district level, Ed has served, among other things, as assistant governor for large clubs, assistant governor for Area 1, chair of the 2013 district conference in Napa, and finally as district governor during the 2014-2015 year. He led the district in a record-breaking year in Rotary Foundation fundraising and initiated the district-wide wheelchair distribution program in Monterrey, Mexico. Ed is a major donor to the Rotary Foundation and a member of the Rotary International Bequest and Paul Harris Societies. During his years as a Rotarian, Ed participated in numerous Rotary trips. These included visits to Ghana as part of the district's first polio eradication mission to that country, to Vietnam and Cambodia, helping deliver school supplies and clothing to a number of orphanages, and many trips to Guatemala with Carl Stuckey, where Oakland Rotary installed stoves and helped bring clean water to the Mayan village of Chibaquib. Ed is currently editor of the Rotary Foundation News Today. I know you all read that. The district's Rotary Foundation newsletter, and for the last 4 years, he's been chair of the District Resolutions Committee. After being district governor, Ed served on numerous district committees as part of his 5-year commitment after being district governor. Ed is an avid reader, crossword puzzler. He loves American and English history and also enjoys photography, bridge, and listening to 50s rock and roll music. His favorite 50s groups include Dion and the Belmonts, the Diamonds, and the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. Ed has been a docent at the Oakland Zoo since 2016. His favorite animals are the white-handed gibbons and the giraffes. Ed's wife, Julie, is a retired paralegal for a San Francisco law firm, and Ed and Julie will be celebrating their 31st anniversary next month. Ed's personal philosophy includes helping others and using humor to improve relationships. Members and guests, I give you Ed Jellen.
Very briefly, I'm approaching almost 25 years as a member of this wonderful club. I've loved every one of those 25 years, and I'm very proud to be a Rotarian. Thank you all.
Thank you. Lorna Padilla Marcus rings the bell for Ed. Mary Redser, David Douglas, Linda Bozenecker, Robert Kidd, Michael Bruck. I've got one here for Dudley Thompson, Great. Peter Sher, yeah, I know you. Peter Sheris. Do we have any online? Jack McAvoy. Great. And these funds from bell ringers all go towards Mary G. No, actually, they go towards Tom Lamone's year now. So we're a year away. They go directly to that. Thank you very much for that. And thank you, Ed. You're going to see Ed next week. He'll introduce Richard Flanders, who's our district governor next week. Linda Chu, are you online?
I'm here online.
Linda Chu.
You ready for me at this point?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have you. Can we spotlight? There we go.
Great. Thank you. Can we have the set of slides, please? There we go. Well, President Dudley and fellow Rotarians, I'm grateful to be part of Oakland 3, where we have so many choices in how we can make a difference in our community. Next slide, please. Somewhere there. Well, while they're finding it, I'll just go ahead. We fund our work through the Oakland Rotary Endowment, and just in the last 6 years, we've given over 1.16 million plus to local and international communities, including 65 grants to local nonprofits, ORE funds, Kinder Prep, which, as you know, is going to have a couple of volunteer activities for us to participate in next month, Enterprise Institute, the Carl Stuckey World Community Service, Cerrone Lena Scholarships, and the Community Service Committee, just to name a few. Next slide, please. So March is ORE month, and now is the time to renew our commitment to fund the future. For example, your gift of $50 can purchase 2+ wellness bags for veterans, or $250 will purchase supplemental classroom materials for a Kinder Prep teacher. At $1,000, you can purchase a computer to give the homeless people in our community access to the benefits and information that they so greatly need. And $2,500 can provide a scholarship for a Cerrone Lena student for 1 year's tuition. All fabulous. We have a special guest. Leeann already introduced her, so now it's my honor to welcome Kelly Friedman, Executive Director of City Slicker Farms. She's going to tell you how we have helped them. So Kelly, take it away.
Hi. Thank you very much. This is great. Thank you all so much for having me. My name is Kelly Ernst Friedman. I'm the Executive Director of Farms. And let's see if I can get this working. There we go. So I have a few pictures that I want to show you a little bit more about the work that we do, and specifically the work that the Rotary Endowment has helped support, and tell you a little bit about our mission. We are based in West Oakland. This is our 21st year. Our current mission is to increase wellness and build community by increasing equitable access to thriving gardens, urban green space. So we run a couple of different programs. We have the West, let's see if this will have it on. There we go. There we go. So we run the West Oakland Farm Park, and the farm park, it's a 1.4 acre space. We have forever farmlands. We have a farm where we grow food that we give out to the community through our collaboration with Town Fridge. We have 37 chickens. We have bees. We have a rabbit named Chance. We do a lot of work connecting community members to farming, to sustainable urban agriculture, to gardening. We also run a backyard gardens program. Since 2005, we work with people where they live, where they work, where they build community to grow gardens. We supply them with the lumber, we build the gardens, we put in the soil, the irrigation, and we work with folks to overcome any hurdles that they might have to gardening, whether that is access to resource and materials, space, not feeling confident in gardening. So we do a lot of one-on-one mentorship. And we're especially grateful to the Oakland Rotary Endowment for supporting a lot of our work over the years. This is a chicken coop that we built this last year to house some of our new flocks. You can see some volunteers we have working on building that. Right now we have, I think, 37 or 38 chickens, and we are putting out, and not all of the chickens are laying eggs yet, but anywhere between 40 to 50 eggs a day that goes out to low and fixed income community members that are experiencing food insecurity. A little bit about where we started. We started in 2001. I know I'm on a timer, so I'm trying to hurry. There we go. And again, our current programs, we have our backyard gardens, our West Oakland Farm Park, and our farm to fridge food sharing. And the fridge is open and available anytime. So if you're in the West Oakland area, 2847 Peralta Street, you can pick up food, you can drop off food. There's a pantry there as well. There's about a dozen fridges throughout Oakland and also now in Berkeley. Here's a little shot of our ladies hanging out in their new coop. And here's some of them with the different kinds of eggs. We have about 7 different breeds. It's also really great to connect kids and community members to chickens and to livestock. Here's a picture of the coop there with our backyard garden. The other thing that Oakland Rotary has helped support is we used to write all of our plant stakes by hand, which took a lot of time, a lot of staff capacity. We were able to get a plant stakes printer, which made us feel very fancy, so thank you very much, and has saved a lot of our time. So you can see these are some of the plants that we grow. Last year we grew 22,000 plants that we gave away to our backyard garden members, so that was a lot of handwriting. Here's a picture of some of our produce in our town fridge. Some of our eggs are there as well, you can see. This is our community garden. We have 32 community garden spots for folks, unhoused community members who don't have land and aren't able to have a garden where they live. This is our outdoor classroom. We do a lot of education at the farm park as well. This is some of our team building a backyard garden bed for a community member. These are some volunteers who are planting in some fresh, that's rainbow chard, it looks like. And then we also do nutrition education. We have a demonstration kitchen at the farm park. So this is one of our neighborhood youth that harvested some beets, and they were doing a really cool project where they were creating food dyes as well as pickling the beets. Here's some of our kiddos learning how to plant. This is one of our backyard gardeners getting ready to plant into their garden. And then this is just a lovely montage of photos. I have some information cards that I'll put at the back desk for folks that are interested. Our website is cityslickerfarms.org. My name is Kelly at City Slicker Farms. But thank you so much. We do a lot of work. We work with hundreds of gardeners and community members each year, produce 5,000 pounds of food, 22,000 plants, and we really rely on donations and support. So we're incredibly grateful for the continued support. So thank you so much. Also, I did the 5K last week in the Oakland Marathon, and it was so helpful to have folks cheering me on for the first time. So thank you for everybody who did that.
Thank you, Kelly.
Do you need this?
I have one more slide. If the team can get me it is. So thank you, Kelly. That was awesome. We are in our final stretch of our campaign, and our goal is $100,000. And as of now, on that slide, you can see that we are a little over $60,000. So if you are a postponer or AKA procrastinator, it's time to close the gap. So if you're attending via Zoom today, you can make your pledge in the chat box. If you're in the ballroom, there are pledge forms on your table. Or you can go to our website and donate. Just indicate that your gift is for the endowment. And finally, you can return your check in the envelope you received in the mail about a week ago. So, fellow Rotarians, together, let's support our vibrant community and get to our goal. Thank you so much for participating. And back to you, President Dudley.
Thank you, Linda. CJ Hirschfield, would you please come up? I'm going to say I had a couple minutes here, and I really hope that people will stay after the speaker today. We have made a contribution to Ukraine aid and have also received a very nice donation. I'd like to say something about it if anybody can stay, I'll say it at the end of the meeting. Thank you. CJ.
Thank you, President Dudley. Well, some of us get really excited about this time of year because of the Academy Awards. I'm also from Los Angeles. I don't know if that's part of it. But it is true, I think we would all admit that there are some film lovers and experts who can be insufferable. You know, they always see everything, they know everything, which is why it is such a treat to introduce our guest today, whose vast knowledge and love of film is always shared in an enthusiastic and heartfelt way. Gary Meyer is co-founder of the Landmark Film Chain, former co-director of the Telluride Film Festival, curator of eatdrinkfilms.com, and also an inductee into the prestigious San Francisco Film Hall of Fame. Well, you may have heard, the Oscars are going to be different this year. And the Academy has also recently opened a brand new museum in Los Angeles. And here to tell us all about it and to engage you in the Oscar process as well is Gary Meyer.
Welcome. Am I projecting okay? First of all, as a carryover from last week, Speaker Eddie Muller, who didn't have any of the flyers, I went to and picked up a whole bunch of these. So at your tables, Noir City starts tonight. It plays through Sunday, so it'll be competing with the Oscars. I'm going to be at the Grand Lake Theater on Sunday night, videotaping or recording the Oscars, so that when I come home, I can speed through the commercials, and I'm just not going to look at my phone or anything to see who won anything. So you might do the same thing. So I'm going to talk first about the new Academy Museum that opened at the end of September. Kathy and my wife and I went down for the opening and didn't know what to expect. This museum has been going on for years, decades it seems, and controversial. It's gone through a bunch of different leadership, and they finally did open it in the old May Company building right next to the Los Angeles County Museum. And so you see here an outside shot of the building. There's a dome, on the top on the right there is a theater, which you'll see in a moment, the inside of the theater, and the very back of it, the little hub, there's a projection booth. And on the top of it is this dome, this kind of open air dome where they have parties and receptions, and you can look out at a view of the city. It's pretty spectacular. Next slide, please. Now this is a day and nighttime shot of that dome, and you can see the theater there on the right is in the area with the little box that sticks out. Next slide, please. This is what the theater looks like, the big theater. There's a smaller, beautiful theater as well. I think this is about 1,000-seat theater. They show films every Tuesday night as well as other times. I was talking to somebody from the Academy yesterday, and she said that on Monday night or Tuesday night, they showed The Graduate. And with Lawrence Terman, who was the producer, was there. And the audience laughed and they loved it. And I said, I bet they didn't laugh at the scene that everybody in San Francisco laughed at when The Graduate opened. Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
They were going across the ridge backwards.
Yeah, you can't go from San Francisco to couldn't go from San Francisco to Berkeley on the top deck. Now they should refilm it and insert that back in as you can on half of the bridge. Anyway, there's just a couple of examples of things that are in the museum, samples of early projection equipment. One that looks like the Eiffel Tower, I love that. Next, please. Examples of some of the exhibits. There's an entire gallery about the Wizard of Oz, the entire creation of the Wizard of Oz, from it becoming an idea to adapt it into the filmmaking, change of directors, all the way through the marketing of the film. How are they going to promote this film and hopefully make a success out of it? And we know they were successful at that. We have Mount Rushmore from North by Northwest, and they really were using a projected backdrop for much of what they shot. And then we have just an example of a gallery with different screens, multimedia presentation, and lower than it's hard for you to see, I think, but those are makeup busts. And there's a section that discusses makeup, and it's kind of takes us a bit back, and it's a clue as to what goes on in this museum, where they're not just kind of giving us a history of the movies as we've seen it before, but a history that gives us some insight into some of the things that that we wouldn't accept today. So you see makeup boxes that are intended for white people, but that say different types of Chinese makeup, different kinds of Mexican makeup, different kinds of African American makeup, but they would go on to white actors predominantly. And occasionally, if it was a person of color, they might still put the makeup on them to make them look similar to the other people that were made up. Next slide, please. Jaws is hanging over an escalator in case you decide to take a little jump up. You've got Bert Lahr's wig and fur from The Wizard of Oz. There's an animator's, in the middle there, that's an animator's desk. And it's Bugs Bunny in the front. And then above, there's a Pedro Almodovar exhibit going on right now. And it's a thing he created that's multimedia and gives you a sense of the different themes that he uses in his films. And his film Parallel Mothers is a nominated film this year. Next slide, please. It's hard to really get much detail, but there are a lot of costumes and some pretty crazy, outrageous costumes that are on display. Next, please. Anybody recognize on the right there what that is? I've got one on my lapel here. Who can tell me what that sled is? Rosebud from Citizen Kane. And there we have Orson Welles at the camera there. Next, and on the left, I can't see from the curtain, but that's obviously it's E.T.
What's on the screen is what's on.
Right, but it's hard for me to see some of it. Okay, next, please. Another multimedia thing, that's Toshiro Mifune from Yojimbo, Kurosawa film, and Sunset Boulevard. Next, please. Let's see. So Spike Lee is, a lot of the exhibits, in fact, most of the exhibits are rotating. They'll rotate everywhere from maybe 6 to 12 months. So Spike Lee has an exhibit of things that are in his personal collection as a film buff and as a sports buff. And so you've got all these great things that you can see that he loves. And he's an autograph hound. He goes and finds famous film directors who sign posters for him. Next, please. And there's some of his sports memorabilia. Next, please. There's a lot about silent film, and there were black filmmakers. Their films showed in black-only theaters, and there's a whole area about that. In fact, in that case, in the front there, down below, there are a number of letters. There was a film made called Within the Gates that was an answer, a black filmmaker's answer to Birth of a Nation. And theater owners that had it scheduled got letters from anonymous letters to the city that said, you better not show this movie if you want your theater to continue to operate, back in the 20s. Next slide, please. There's an exhibit that's closing fairly soon on Miyazaki, the great Japanese animator. And so I just have here a series of images and some drawings. And next, please. We can just kind of go through these. Have any of you seen Miyazaki films? Totoro, Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, great. Next, please. Next, please. Beautiful stuff, and it's just wonderful to go through and see these original illustrations. Next, please. Next, please. And this is an area where you walk into that kind of a cloud forest, and you see illuminations and images inside of, if you walk up into that green thing. Next, please. This is an Oscar room. There are a collection of Oscars that are there. There's one that's an empty box. And that is an empty box that says Hattie McDaniel at the bottom of it. She was the first black person to ever win an Academy Award for Gone with the Wind. She was not going to be allowed to come to the ceremonies because the Coconut Grove had a rule against people of color being in the Coconut Grove. David Selznick fought very hard to get her to be there, but she had to agree to sit at a segregated table in the back of the room. Why is her Oscar missing? She gave it to Howard University. And there was some controversy about that, and it disappeared. Nobody knows where it is. Next, please. This is an Oscar for the film Sunrise, one of the earliest Academy Award winners. And there's a room where you go in to the Oscar experience, and they pretend like you're winning an Oscar, and they videotape it, and you get it online, and you can. Next, please. Several years ago, about 5 years ago, my wife and I got to go to the Oscars. And so there we are outside on the red carpet. Next, please. This year, the Oscar cast is going to be very different than it has been. They're trying to make some changes because the viewership has gone way down on all award shows, but with the Oscars, and it's kind of the main moneymaker that they have for all the educational programs that they do, as well as obviously the museum and things like that. So they've got a trio of women that are going to be the main hosts, and we're all hoping that it's going to be informative and hilariously funny. Next, please. So on your tables, there should be an Oscar ballot. I apologize for it being so small print. It looked bigger when I printed it, but it didn't come out that way. And I thought we'd go over a few of the categories, and I'll open it up for questions for people. Find my glasses here. Since the person who invited me, CJ, loves documentaries and writes about documentaries for my blog, Eat, Drink, Films, I thought we'll start with the best documentary feature category. Have any of you seen any of these films? Ascension, Attica, Flee, Summer of Soul, and Riding with Fire. It's an incredible group of films. They are all available in some form online, actually most free on streaming services. And I recommend that you watch them. You will be rewarded in so many ways I can't begin to tell you. And maybe even watch them without knowing too much about them, because the surprises in these films will stay with you a long time. Which film is likely to win? Well, I think they're all worthy of winning. Nobody here had seen any of these films, or somebody must have? Yes, what did you see? Summer of Soul. Do you think Summer of Soul might win? Yes. And I agree with you. I think that there's many things going for the film in this Academy race. It doesn't always mean that it's the best work of art, although in this case I think that they all are equal. But Summer of Soul is a film about a music and arts festival that took place in Harlem before Woodstock the same year. It was filmed, there's 60 hours of footage, and then it disappeared. And Questlove came to this project, and he put together an incredible 2-hour movie with phenomenal performances, really interesting things about the community. There's all this other footage, and we're hoping that some sort of a special DVD will come out. The producer is a friend of mine, and he said that they're fighting with Disney, doesn't want to do it, and Criterion does, but Disney doesn't want to make a deal with Criterion because they think they'll lose money if they don't put it out themselves, so we'll find out. So I think Summer of Soul, but the sleeper may well be Flee, which is an animated documentary, and it is, again, I'm not going to tell you anything about it, just go watch it. It's out there and available. I think it may be on Hulu. I think it's on Hulu right now. The best short documentaries, I talk about that too. Where do I put those? I think, CJ, are you doing an article about them? Not yet, okay. They are all available online, and they're all also terrific, and I'm trying to find my notes on them, and I can't. But they're on your sheet here, and they're really worth taking a look at. 2 of them are made by San Francisco filmmakers. Lead Me Home, which is about homelessness in San Francisco and Los Angeles. And When We Were Bullies, which is made by Jay Rosenblatt, who's is the program director of the Jewish Film Festival. It's about him remembering that when he was in the 5th grade, he was a bully. And an incident took place, and he goes back and finds everybody he can who was in that class, in his class, to what they remember about this bullying situation. And it's uniquely created as well. You've never seen a film quite done like this done. So let's go to actors. Well, I should ask, has anybody seen all of the Best Picture nominees? Anybody seen 5? Anybody seen 1? Okay, great, okay. You got your start. Again, I think they're all available now online, mostly on streaming services, a few that you would have to pay for. But I'd say that I think that every film that's been nominated this year is worthy of your consideration and of your time. So in Best Actors, we've got a really strong lineup of people. They've been kind of bouncing back and forth as to who's likely to win. I think it's going to be Will Smith. He has been winning most of the awards. He's very much liked. He will give a great speech. He always does give great speeches. And that's one of the things about the Oscars, is that we have sometimes really great speeches, and we also have people who have a long list of people they need to thank that we've never heard of before. And they keep worrying they're going to miss somebody. So at a luncheon for the nominees 2 weeks ago, the producers said, don't thank anybody. I guess you can thank your parents, but don't thank anybody. Talk from your heart about what this project meant and why it's important to you to have won the Oscars. And so I actually agree. I hope that that happens, because I don't know who all those people are either. So I think it's Will Smith on that. Best, I kind of mixed myself up here. Best actress. Well, they're kind of all, again, equal. This is because of the last 2 years where most films haven't had much of a theatrical life. It's kind of odd, because films that are likely to win in any of these categories were probably had a few weeks or 1 or 2 weeks in the theater, if at all, and then they went on to a streaming service. I think that Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye and Penelope Cruz on Parallel Mothers are in a dead heat on this. So I'm not going to make a clear prediction. I shouldn't make any predictions that I have to stand by. Best Supporting Actor. Another terrific group. There are some people that didn't get nominated that I wish were. It's looking pretty clear that Troy Koster from Coda is going to win. He's been winning awards left and right. He's fantastic. And actually, on the documentary shorts, the film that I think might win is called Audible, and it is about a deaf football team. And this Coda is about a deaf family. And it's a film that you should absolutely see. It's on Apple Plus. And Best Supporting Actress, another dead heat. Every single one of these actresses should win, as far as I'm concerned. And again, making a prediction is hard. I think that this sort of a sympathetic thing, that West Side Story deserves something, and sorry that Rita Moreno didn't get nominated, but Ariana DeBose has a really good chance of being the winner in that, I think. Let's go to the top titles, because I want to be able to open it up for some questions and answers. Best Director. You got 5. Oh, and back to the Best Actress. Incidentally, none of those actresses are in films that were nominated for Best Picture, which is kind of interesting. It doesn't usually happen that way. So Best Director. I like all these films, and I like all of the works that they're filmmakers themselves. I think that it's Jane Campion for Power of the Dog. Everything seems to be going that way. She made a little slip up in one of her announcements recently. I'd love to see West Side Story, because I think it's fantastic, and I stand by the fact that you can make a new West Side Story and still love the old one, because the old one was a remake of a Broadway play, which has been redone so many times on Broadway that I don't like remakes as a rule, but there are times when I think it's okay. But I really do think that that Jane Campion probably will win, which takes us to Best Picture, because it was kind of looking like, first it looked like Belfast was a sure winner. It's a film that people really love. Filmmakers really love the movie. Kenneth Branagh about his own growing up. But then Power of the Dog really kind of was taking the lead. But there's kind of a feeling that Coda is going to be this year's surprise winner. So with that, I think we can push to the next slide. I don't know what I've got there next. I can't remember. But yeah, so there's the Best Picture posters for all the Best Picture nominees, and let's open it up to questions. And I'll do my best to respond.
Do we have questions? Michael Bruck.
Thank you. I recently read some criticism, I guess you would say, that back to the museum, that the museum ignored the founders of the studios, the original founders. There was no mention of them. Do you have any thoughts about that? Or?
Yes, there was an article that was being critical of the fact that Jews ran a lot of the studios and they were not mentioned. The fact is that there's a whole exhibit that is being prepared and is going to be opening very soon, and there was a response from the Academy that was in the New York Times and the LA Times 2 or 3 days ago, just the day after that criticism came out. You can't do everything in this building, and their plan is to do things over a long period of time. They will do exhibits that you might say, why didn't they do that a long time ago? And there'll be exhibits that you never could have imagined were interesting and that will be there. So I think that it's just, they were trying to show a lot of different things, and that's somewhat of a well-known, maybe even obvious fact, that Jews were coming from Europe, and they were running a lot of the studios and being a lot of filmmakers. Next.
Lorna Padilla Marcus.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your comments today. My question is, and you mentioned some of these films have gone very quickly to online streaming services. Can you talk about the impact of the fact that many of these films are either not seen in the theaters or seen in the theaters for a very long time, and maybe the quality of the films as a result, that many of them are primarily being viewed online?
I don't think that the quality of the film has gone down because so many of them are online. Most of them were made to be seen in theaters, and because of the pandemic, they wound up going to streaming services either immediately or having some sort of a run. Now, a film like Coda was at Sundance last year, and the plan was theatrical. Apple Plus came in with a bid that just was so much more than anybody else even considered, and a lot of people put up big bids, that they got it. So they did a very limited theatrical run, one, because they needed to qualify for the Academy Awards, and two, because they knew that there were very few theaters that were open, so they didn't really have a lot of choice. It's unclear with Apple Plus whether they're going to do proper theatrical releases on films as theaters continue to reopen. You know, Amazon went into the production business about 5-6 years ago, and their plan was to do theatrical and have 6-month window before they went on to Amazon Prime. And then somewhere along the line, prior to COVID, they decided that they weren't making enough money on a lot of the films. They made some wrong choices in films. They made some wrong choices in their marketing strategies. And sometimes people just aren't interested in a movie in a theater. So I think that we continue to get good films. And there's an interesting thing that's going on, and is that Netflix and Disney and Amazon Prime and Hulu and all these different companies are putting money into a lot of films that otherwise might not have been made. And so some of them are getting theatrical and some of them aren't. Documentaries are exploding because of this money that's being made available to them. So I'm torn about it. Now, as a person who ran movie theaters since I was 12 years old and turned my parents' barn hayloft into a theater, of course I want us to be going to the movies in theaters. And I understand why it's been difficult for the last 2 years and why it's still difficult for many people. What has happened? Well, I think we've gotten really used to the fact that we can turn on the television and watch a film at will. We can turn it off and go get a snack or whatever, answer the door or whatever other things you might do. And turn it off if you don't like it and don't feel like you've lost any money or any large money, even if you paid for it. So I think it's a problem. And for art cinemas, which is what I predominantly was involved with, that audience tends to be an older audience. And so we are slower to return to the theaters. Although we are returning to the symphony. I'm going to the symphony tomorrow night. We've been going the last couple of symphonies. We'll see CJ there, hopefully, in the lobby. And we've gone to Berkeley Rep and ACT and Yoshi's, as well as going to movies. But we've been kind of just being very, very careful about the places that we go. And so some theaters, like the Grand Lake, require proof of vaccination and that you wear masks, and you just sort of learn to be with it. Who here thinks they'll go back to movies and theaters, and be honest? Who here thinks that they probably won't, or it would have to be a rare instance? Okay, so those who raise your hand, can you tell us just maybe why that is, and what would it take to change you? There's two of you, I think, that raised your hands.
Something creates time and convenience. You know, the greater access to movies online, you know, where our lives are busy, that it's more convenient to view it online than in the theater. Although I have to say, choice of the small theaters, like the one on Solano Avenue in Albany.
Right, the Albany. Yeah, yes.
Get a mic.
Only if you want to.
Yeah, one of the things that troubles me is that, I'm sorry, I'm getting feedback, is just the behavior in theaters. You know, people are sighing and talking and showing on their phones, and I can actually concentrate on the movie better at home.
But I fully understand that. It's so terrible that people are used to looking at their phone and talking at home while they're watching movies on television, that they carry it on to their experience in the movie theaters. And my kids used to think I was going to get in big trouble. I was going to get beat up because I would lean over and touch somebody on the shoulder and say, "Please turn that phone off." You know, people don't realize when you turn your phone on that everybody around you and behind you suddenly sees this screen. And there's only one screen in that movie theater that we should be looking at. But this other thing is a distraction. And people say, "Oh, nobody cares. Nobody sees it." Well, yeah, everybody who's behind them, around them, does see it. So it's an issue that absolutely has to be worked upon. I think if you go to the art cinemas, you'll see much less of that happening than you will if you go to a big commercial film. And I hope that you give it a chance on something that kind of intrigues you to see on the big screen. Yeah.
I have an online question.
Yes.
From Greg Knight. Do you think that viewership is declining because we get too little content and hear too little from the award recipients, but hear way too much from the sponsors?
During the show itself, I think that they're talking about, they're going to try and make what we hear from the recipients be more meaningful if they don't read those long lists. And if you go to see Noir City or do something else on Sunday night and record it, then you can avoid the commercials. I'm sure that ABC doesn't want to hear that because that's where they make their money, but that's the way that we do it. In fact, for years, we've been watching the Oscars delayed by like an hour. Have a few friends over, have something to eat, delay it by an hour, don't look at our phones, and then we can speed through those commercials.
Gary, thank you so much for being with us today. And thank you for coming back. We really appreciate your being a regular with us. This year, for our speaker gift, we've identified our new Rotary 7th area of focus, the environment. And so our speakers were making a donation to the Rotary Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group, which I lost all my notes and I don't memorize this, but it's involved with contributing, here we go, for against climate change. Gary, it's a good deal. It's a good place to put the money. Gary, thanks so much for being with us. It's really special to have you. And thanks for coming last week as well. I bought my tickets for Sunday at 1 o'clock. And we've been reading in his book and preparing for it. So.
Tonight's moved all the King's Men, one best.
So, everybody, thank you. As Gary just said, I'm going to skip thank yous because I really need a couple minutes here. Elita.
I'd like to ring the bell for David Stein, who helped me to terminate my relationship with who was it? Waste Management. Got me a refund. The end.
Thank you, Elita. Rings the bell for David Stein.
And we have two online bell ringers.
Okay.
For Ed Jellen, one of them by Linda Chu and the other by Joe Garalka.
Joe Garalka and Linda Chu for Ed Jellen.
I'd like to ring the bell for Renee Webb. Tomorrow, I am proudly attending her official filing for the Oakland City.
Thank you. Keith Uriarty rings it for Renee Webb. Okay. We can't do this announcement next week. Our time is it's very tight next week. I want to say about 3 weeks ago, we started to get requests about giving money for Ukraine relief. And I looked online very quickly. The night before was a Rotary district leadership meeting. They were recommending the Red Cross. During the meeting, people were saying, aren't we giving it through Rotary? And I was looking up stuff. Anyway, we've had a lot of suggestions about what to do. So I asked the Carl Stuckey World Community Service Committee to vet all of these requests that we're getting, and one is, and I didn't say we have to give money from the club, but if we are, to decide on where we're going to do it. And that sort of from that, I guess we're recommending two. They decided two places. One is World Central Kitchen. And World Central Kitchen, first of all, it was very popular amongst the committee, and they are doing meals on the they're doing some meals within cities, but particularly on the corridor between Ukraine and Poland. And so and the board approved a $4,000 contribution to World Central Kitchen. The second one is the Rotary Foundation Ukraine Relief Fund. I would like to very briefly read you about it. They've created a fund. The designated Rotary districts that border Ukraine and Rotary district in Ukraine will apply for grants. These are emergency grants for up to $50,000 each. They'll be expedited to provide relief for refugees or other victims, including water, food, shelter, medicine, and clothing. And also during the same period, other Rotary clubs can apply for a $25,000 emergency grant for if they're impacted by the crisis, by refugees or other people affected. I can only assume that's with refugees being sent around the world, other Rotary districts and other clubs and cities are paying for that. So yesterday, I get a call from Barbara Berry. And a friend of Barbara Berry's has offered to give $10,000 and would like to do it through Rotary. And so we're talking about that right now. They would like to challenge it. It's a sort of a kind of challenge grant. Barbara has offered to put the first $1,000 up against their challenge grant. A few others I know have already offered some towards that, and we would welcome any further contributions for that. We don't want to compete with ORE. We realize we're always asking for money, but I know everybody's trying to do something right now. Rotary has a great, and I've been talking with the district governor and the head of the Rotary Foundation group, but what happens too is this becomes part of our annual gift as well. So in a sense, it comes back to us through DDF. That's kind of magical to us too. So it's a great channel. The last thing I'll say about that is that the Rotary International Secretary, our CEO, is Ukrainian. And his first club that he joined, he's born in the United States, but the first club he joined was in Kyiv, in Ukraine. He was working there, and when he was working there, what he was doing was helping draft the first democratic constitution of Ukraine. So as I'm going to say, there's something special I've observed about Rotary. A year ago, Peter Sherris was our president when COVID hit. Peter Sherris became our Dr. Fauci. I mean, it was just the perfect person at the perfect time. And I have to say right now, it appears that the perfect person to be leading Rotary is John Hayko, who's also Ukrainian and knows people inside. Anyway, thank you for staying with me for this. Linda. Make a check to ORE, and we will, and just note on it Ukraine Relief, and we'll channel it through this. Thank you. Alex. We're not really ringing the bell, but if people want to raise their hand and make a contribution, they're welcome to do that, or please write it down. Okay, thank you, Alex. Pledges $100 towards the Ukraine League. 200, thank you. Peter Sherris, 500,000, right? $500 from Peter Sherris. Thank you, Peter. Okay. Ralph Sklar, $500, Ralph Sklar. Thank you. Robert Kidd, $500 from Robert Kidd. Thank you. Jim Bosenecker, $500. Deep, $500. Lois Corin, $500. Thank you. And feel free, make a check to ORE on your, just say, Ukraine League. Thank you for staying with me on this.
Online, Joe Goraka pledged 1,000.
Joe Goralka gives $1,000. Thank you, Joe. Okay. I'd love to thank everybody individually. Okay, Kristen Cook, Kevin Jenkins, Gary Flaxman, Michael Bruck, Ed Jellen, Linda Chu, Kelly Friedman, CJ Hirschfield, Gary Meyer, and all of our meeting production teams, thank you for being here. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Remember, we are Rotary, serve to change lives, and don't keep Rotary a secret. Thank you, everyone.